Morning, folks. I appreciate you joining me today here on Deep River Farm. You know, you can be growing all this stuff, and you got to know when to pull this stuff out and get rid of it, and get your garden set up for the next round of stuff. So when your squash are done, like mine are, and everything, it's time to move on. Get it pulled out of the way, and get you some other stuff ready to go. No point in waiting for, 2 or 3 other little squash to come aboard and so you can pick them to eat them. There's no point in waiting on all that stuff. So just go ahead and clean your beds out, get rid of it, and move on to your next crop, because the heat has really done a damage on this squash. So I'm gonna take care of it, and you can see it here. And we're gonna come back in. Now we've already got my cantaloupes are growing in a planter. So I'm gonna get them out here and get them ready to go. When they're ready, all I gotta do is stick them in the ground here, and we'll be good to go. So I'm just pulling the squash out. I'll go ahead and get a little bit of this grass that we've got here and clean it out. There's no point in trying to get a little bit more squash. Your ratio to harvest to what you could be getting later in something else is not worth it. So get it cleaned out, get what little bit of grass is in there pulled out, and leave there, folks. Add a little fertilizer, you're gonna be ready to go with your bed of your next crops. And like I said, I've got some cantaloupe already growing in the planters, and all I'm gonna do is transplant them out here. So you need to know when it's time to pull them out and go with something else and be done with it, rather than dragging it along to try to get a few extra squash. Because the summer growing season will be coming to an end here shortly, because it generally takes anywhere from 50 to 90 days to grow something. Meanwhile, you're waiting on a few squash. You could be utilizing that time to get a late plant in. So folks, it's crucial that you get all this stuff done, unless you want to depend on the grocery store. If you want to depend on the grocery store and get pesticide-laden stuff, that's up to you. But if you want good, clean, wholesome food, grow it yourself. A lot of people say, I ain't got room to grow nothing. Look at here's a 4x4 box right in front of me, folks. I've got them set up like that, 4-foot boxes. Some of them are in 8-foot boxes. But when it all comes down to it, I got 23 of these boxes. So folks, I appreciate you joining me here today. I'm going to get this fertilized up, and I'm going to get ready to put some cantaloupe in here. Y'all have a blessed day, and have a safe 4th of July. Thanks for watching Deep River Farm. So folks, I've dug down to get my cantaloupe root ball in the garden. I want you to look how dry this soil is now. I've dug down, and it's pretty dry. Now getting down in here, it's dry, but it's got a little bit of moisture down there on the bottom. So these these leaves are doing their job, holding in as much moisture as possible, and it's been almost a solid week of 100-degree temperatures. So I've rolled my root ball out here, and I'm getting ready to put it into the garden. Well, folks, I told you I was going to transplant my cantaloupe. As you can see, I done went through and got my cantaloupe out. And if you see here, it all come out in one solid long root ball. So what I'm gonna do now is roll this out to my garden and put it inside those boxes that we just cleaned out for the squash. Wanted you to see this. Now the almanac said to do this in May, so I did. So I started them in the planter there, and the squash are done. So now we're transplanting the cantaloupe. See, they kind of look rough. That's mainly due to heat. I need a little extra water because that ain't but 4 inches deep. But the whole root balls come out. You can see they're blooming on the end. And we're gonna go to the garden and transplant this. So I've got my root ball. Now notice I left all my wildflowers. This will help bring in the bees and things as they come on along as well. And I'm getting ready to cover this up with the leaves so that it'll hold the moisture. Okay, we got the leaves raked up around it. We've also caged up some of the later planted squash here that are still got a lot of smaller blooms and things on it. We've caged up this other cantaloupe over here, and we're gonna see what this squash does, but you can see all of this stuff on the leaves. See all them little eggs? So we're gonna throw some dust out here. I've been trying to kill them with dishwashing soap and everything else, but they just too many of them. So we're gonna put on the sevens dust. We don't have any blooms on here right now. We got some coming, but there's no active blooms for the bees here on any of these plants. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. As you can see here, they're on the bottom side of this squash, and we got to get this stuff took care of. So we got some blooms here. Looky there, folks, a honeybee. Got a honeybee in here. First one I've seen. That's good. But folks, this is our squash, our cucumbers here. See how these things have now run up the trellis after I guided them up here? Look at all these blooms. The bees are working this. There's one right there. And that's a good thing. So how did they work as far as picking? Well, I just pulled 2. I got them off of the side of the trellis. I didn't think about showing you how this worked. There's some more honeybees. We got several honeybees showing up here. This is good. This is good. At least they ain't killed them all. But yeah, these cucumbers will be hanging right here, chest high, easy to pick. You know, you got a little work to start with, building the trellis and getting all that set up and guiding the vines when they first come out and they start running. And you wrap them, and then look, they come right on up. They climb the trellis on their own once you get them started, and you're good to go. And right there's one, folks, coming up, growing along the trellis. And here's another one down at the bottom. We're getting ready to pick it. And let's see. Right here's one as well. So like I said, once you get them started, they're here. Easy to pick. So folks, the thunderstorms is rumbling and everything's getting a little water. We just run out to the garden to check everything. I want you to look at this while we're doing this video about the garden stuff. Just look at the tomatoes in there. These tomatoes are 7 feet tall now. And they're absolutely loaded with tomatoes. They're coming on strong. Look in here. Ain't that something? They're coming on like Donkey Kong. A lot of tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes. The heat is absolutely working on the green beans. I'm going to tell you what, but hey, look, about tomorrow, I'm going to have to pick again. They're up over 7 feet. The trellis is only 6, but the vines has come up and then fell down, as you can see. See that leader right there? That runner's run out and then down to where the wildflowers are planted. Now this is the cantaloupe that we just brought out that had the big root ball. Like I said, it was looking rough from the heat. So we've got it moved out here. That is the total root ball planted with the wildflowers. Now those are not perennials wildflowers, those are annuals, so they won't interfere with the box as far as getting flowers and things like that growing in them. So we won't have to worry about that. And then we get into the strawberries here. You can see we got some new runners of strawberries starting. I'm gonna have to move that one out of this box. I'm trying to keep them out of the boxes here and just keep them in the front 3 and get that going. And you can see we got that cantaloupe right there is caged up and it's doing real well. So I'm gonna run another cage over there for it and get that one where it will run over, trying to keep the cantaloupes out of the strawberries. So folks, you ask, why do you cage and vertically grow your cantaloupes? Well, look at there, folks. That's why. Guess what? They won't be laying in the dirt to rot or anything like that. They'll grow and do very well hanging on these tomato cages, and others will follow suit. But I wanted you to see that. So folks, it looks like we're getting ready to get hammered. I think you can see it back there. I wanted to run back out and work in the garden real quick and check on the stuff. We got a good drenching of rain. I've got to tie up some more tomatoes down through there, as you can see. Our okra is coming along well. We're gonna have to pick green beans tomorrow, and that way we'll be maybe one more picking before the 4th of July. That way we can enjoy going to the lake and everything. May have some strawberries to pick, as I can see, and all that good stuff. But folks, I appreciate you joining me here on Deep River Farm. I appreciate all the support you folks have shown to Western North Carolina, all the supplies that's been donated, the finances that's been donated, and all that type stuff. And we do this with the gardening stuff so that people in Appalachia that normally would be growing in the ground are now having to rely on raised beds due to the fact that a lot of the soil down by the river, where the best and most rich soil is found down by the rivers and creeks, is now gone, and those locations that were there are now just nothing but rock, and a lot of them don't have any area left except for those rocky areas, because the trees now border the rocks, and they're just no dirt. So you can haul in dirt, build a raised bed, and you can see here what you can produce in raised beds. All of this is raised beds that I have, and we're getting ready to get wet, so I'm gonna make this quick. Appreciate it, folks. Y'all have a blessed day, and I can hear the rain coming again.